unknown. Mysteries and mayhem.
Welcome back, everybody, for some real crime story time here with Mysteries and Mayhem. On this edition, we're going to talk about 5 cursed film sets. Number 1, The Crow. The Crow is a gothic-like tale of love and revenge. The Crow is considered to be a cult classic. This movie was shrouded in darkness and mystery and said to be cursed as the main character, Brandon Lee, the son of the infamous Bruce Lee, was killed on the set of The Crow. Brandon Lee played Eric Draven in the movie. In the scene in question, Eric was to be shot by the character Funboy, played by none other than Michael Massey. Michael fired the gun as he was supposed to, hitting Brandon Lee in the stomach. When Brandon fell to the ground, the cast and crew believed him to be acting. But to their horror, it was discovered that he had in fact been shot. Brandon died 6 hours later in hospital. The prop crew was blamed for the lack of safety shown during the filming scene. It was discovered during the autopsy that Brandon had in fact been shot by a .44 cal bullet. It was found near his spine. The gun was loaded with blanks for the scene, but the crew was unaware that an obstruction was lodged in the barrel. The gun was actually used weeks earlier to film a few scenes. That object laid there, destined for Brandon Lee, for weeks. But that's not the interesting fact in all of this. The most mysterious fact: Brandon was 28 years old. But the bizarre thing was, Bruce Lee, his father, too, died mysteriously on a film set. In Bruce's last movie, The Game of Death, Bruce did film a scene in which he was an actor in a movie. And during that scene, he too was shot by a real bullet. Bruce believed that his family was in fact cursed. He was a very superstitious man, and he believed that all the male heirs of his family, this curse would follow. But looking at the male line of his family, what do you guys all think? Was Bruce Lee cursed, and was this curse the cause of Brandon Lee's untimely death? Number 2, 1968's Rosemary's Baby. Rosemary's Baby was a controversial film at the time. The content of a satanic cult impregnating a woman with Satan's baby was not well received. Today, though, it is a cult classic. The producer, William Castle, received so much hate mail, but he said one really stuck with him. It read, "Bastard believers in Satan worship and witchcraft. Here is my prediction for you. You will slowly rot during a long illness, which you have brought upon yourself. Shame on you." Shortly after the movie's release, William began to have excruciating groin pain, and it caused him much dismay when he found out in October of '68 that he did in fact have a urinary tract blockage and kidney failure. Misfortune fell upon the cast after the release of the film. Roman Polanski's wife, Sharon Tate, and his unborn child was brutally murdered by none other than the Manson family in 1969. It was if evil itself had possessed Polanski after that, because in the 70s, he was convicted of unlawful sex acts with a minor, after he drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl. Sadly, she was not the only one he had abused. Roman became a fugitive when he fled to France to avoid the many charges against him. People believed that Rosemary's Baby was in fact cursed and played a large role in the downfall of Roman Polanski. But that's not where the bizarre ends. In Rosemary's Baby, the apartment in which she shares with the satanic cult is in fact the Dakota Apartments in New York, where John Lennon was shot and killed in the 1980s. But the bizarre does not end there. The composer for the film died in a mysterious accident when he fell from a cliff in LA. His death was a mirror image of Rosemary's friend Hutch in the film. So was the devil in the details for all this? Or was it just coincidence? Or do you believe that the film was actually cursed. Number 3, Poltergeist, 1982. This movie focuses on a family in a haunted house. It has it all, from possessed clowns to killer trees to portals and TVs. But this movie franchise has been plagued by a dark cloud, or a curse, you could say. Many unexpected events and death occurred around this franchise. It all began when they used real skeletons for many scenes, as making them would cost too much money. They did not tell the cast or crew that they were in fact real people in those scenes, real skeletons. Many deaths plagued the crew. The most notable death was that of Dominique Dunn. She played the oldest child in the first movie. She was brutally murdered by her boyfriend at the time. Julian Beck, who played Cain in the sequel, died of stomach cancer at the age of 66. He played Cain during his last years. That is why his character looked so good, so creepy, and so demonic. Will Sampson, who played Taylor in the second film, died of kidney failure at the age of 53. The most heartbreaking was that of Heather O'Rourke. She died at the age of 12 from septic shock and cardiac arrest due to a largely misdiagnosed impacted bowel. She played Carol Ann. In 1992, Richard Lawson narrowly survived a plane crash. In 2009, a small character from the original film, who played a handyman, was in fact brutally murdered in his home. The third film in the series was plagued with issues as well. There was a scene that went horribly wrong, causing a fire that hurt a crew member and cost $200,000 in damages. The death of Heather halfway through the production of number 3 did cause a huge problem for retakes and scenes that needed to be filmed. From lights that flickered and unexplained sounds, there is many instances on the film franchise of the Poltergeist. Craig T. Nelson himself said 2 films was enough due to the weird and strange events that occurred during the filming of the Poltergeist. Number 4, The Exorcist. The Exorcist, to say the least, is a cult classic, but is also known as one of the most cursed films in Hollywood. The film was said to be cursed and dangerous even to view. Is this just marketing hype, or was there something more? There was reports of audience members getting sick or fainting when they went to see it, on-set accidents, a mysterious fire, and even a murder all took place while the film was being made. Troubling things surrounding the film was there were several injuries for both Linda and Ellen, that both suffered long-term back injuries from stunts gone wrong. There was also a fire that burnt down the entire set, setting the film back many months, but the only part of the set that did not burn was Regan's bedroom, which filmmakers thought to be odd to say the least. On top of all this, there was a nurse in the film that killed a reporter before it was released. He was quick to confess, but could not provide police a motive on why he would do such a thing. People who knew the actor said that he was very kind and considerate. The film also had many real-life deaths of cast and crew members before the film was released, either by natural causes or unexpected deaths. The Exorcist was released. It was the highest-grossing movie of all time for many years. Audience members reported physical reactions to it, such as vomiting, fainting. One woman even claimed to have had a miscarriage due to viewing the film. It was also said that due to the content, that you could actually be possessed by viewing the film. That's why this film was actually banned in many countries. The Exorcist was also one of the Hollywood's pinnacles for sound effects as well as visual effects. But the actors do, in fact, state that there were many occurrences on that set that could not be explained. Now, do you think The Exorcist was really cursed? Or was it all hype? There sure is a lot of circumstances that did occur prior to the movie being released, from main actors dying to murder. What do y'all think? Number 5, The Omen, 1976. Perhaps the most chilling set of circumstances comes in the form of The Omen. Bob Munger, an advertising executive, had warned producer Harvey Bernhard that making this movie might be dangerous. He warned us that he thought the devil didn't want us to make this movie. They paid no attention to the warnings, and production began. In June of 1975, just before production was set to begin, star Gregory Peck's son committed suicide. He shot himself in the head. In the first film, there is a particularly haunting scene. It is a zoo scene, where Damien unwillingly frenzies up a wild clan of baboons. A trainer had been brought to set to deal with the animals, but according to Bernard, he was killed the day after. He was killed by a tiger. He was grabbed by the head and mauled. Another eerie death happened that was oddly connected to the film. John Richardson, a special effects guru who had helped in orchestrating a scene that was grisly to say the least, the grisly decapitation scene in The Omen. He was involved in a horrific car crash himself. He did survive, but his assistant Liz Moore was in fact decapitated. The weird thing about the crash, though, was it happened right beside a sign that read, The Omen, 66 kilometers away. Stuntman Alf Joint had gone to another project to start working. A Bridge Too Far was the name of the movie. One of his stunts went terribly wrong. Instead of jumping from the roof into an airbag below, he seemingly fell suddenly and awkwardly. Later in the hospital, he claimed he felt a ghostly hand had pushed him. Many other occurrences happened during the filming of The Omen. A lot of the actors had their own tales to tell of bumps in the night, dark, ominous feelings on set, as well as the feeling of being watched. Now, I don't know about you, but do you think that Bob Munger was right? The devil didn't want this film being made, and he made sure everyone knew it. That was 5 cursed film sets. Those are some of my favorite movies of all time. And it's kind of crazy to think that maybe when filming content like that, you wind up invoking more than an audience, script, and actors. Be sure to like and subscribe so we can keep bringing you some more creepy and mysterious content. We have some great videos coming up. See you in the next one.